Good afternoon, or I should say good evening as well. Thank you very much for being here for what is going to be an exciting new product launch from Milliken. My name is Bhavesh Gandhi. I am Global Director Product Management for Milliken's Polymer Additives business. At Milliken, we envision and develop products that solves industry challenges as well as promote new opportunities. And today's launch is going to tackle both of those problems or opportunities that we see in the industry. Let me introduce my esteemed colleague, Mr. Alan Randall, Senior Global Product Manager for our Clarifier product line, who's going to delve into details of what this new opportunity, new technology does that solves industry's problems. Alan, over to you.
Thank you for that introduction, Bhavesh. We at Milliken are really excited about this opportunity, so I'm really appreciative of everyone being here today to hear about this launch. It's been a long time in the making, and we are very excited to push forward into the industry with a new innovation for clarified polypropylene. But first, let me just give a snapshot of who Milliken is as a whole. For those here who may or may not know who we are a global materials science company. We are spanning the globe between 70 different locations, going throughout 15 different countries. We have over 7,000 associates worldwide. And one of the cornerstones of what we do is innovation. And really demonstrative of that are the 11,000 plus products that we've launched. And it's really been the core to us of innovation for the markets that we're in. But to give you a snapshot of the markets that we play in, right, it's a very broad place. We do everything from manufacturing to automotive, floor covering, textiles and apparel, to this chemical space that spans consumer goods, different chemicals and plastics, as well as many other aspects that people touch on an everyday basis. And you may or may not know that you touch products every day that Milliken has a fingerprint in, but I certainly encourage you to take a look at the TVs that are around. It just gives some good ideas of what Milliken may do to affect your everyday life. It's very rewarding for me to see many of these different aspects. What's even more important to us are our core values. Together, our mission is that together we strive to make a positive impact for generations to come. And many of the things that we do to honor that, it really spans the whole spectrum of ethics. As you can see here, we are one of 6 companies to be rewarded for 19 times consecutive for world's most ethical company. We are also one of the first 50 companies to have a certified net zero strategy. And we are also among the top 2% of those who have EcoVadis Gold designation. As an employee here for over 10 years now, it's an honor to work for this company because I do see how these underlying principles have kind of led us over this 160 plus year journey. And it really is what earmarks what we do into the future, and we want to honor that and continue that forward. What's really also very important to us is being a very sustainable company. We want to really partner throughout the value chain to help customers have a more sustainable solution. And really, we're at a plastic show, right? One of the big things that we hear about is circularity and sustainability. We at Milliken are polymer modification experts, but we don't want to just be additive suppliers. We want to be a partner to those throughout the industry to help meet unmet needs in the market, whether it's through monomaterial development, improving the amount and quality of post-consumer recycled content that's able to be used, broadening the applications that PCR can be used in by improving the quality of what's available, even all the way down to helping people to replace single-use items with more durable applications. So we do a very good job, I think, of partnering throughout the entire value chain, throughout our market segments, to really bring these solutions to bear. But let's get into why we're all here today. What we want to hear about, right, is our clarifying technology. Milliken has been a market leader in this space for over 40 years. If you go back to over 40 years ago to our first generation product, to today, our 4th generation product, which most of you know as Millad NX8000. Every step along that journey, we've been very intentional and very dedicated to making innovative approaches to improving on the previous generation. And today, Millad NX8000 is the market-leading clarifier, but we don't want to stop there. We understand that there are unmet needs in the market, and we understand that our customers want to continue to see us innovate in this space and continue to push forward in creating more value for them for clarified polypropylene. And so that is our aim and that is our effort. And I'm excited because I get to tell you all a little bit more about what we're doing there. But first, if you take a look at really the process, how do you get to the point where you understand what those unmet needs are, and how do you go through that innovation process? It's really around customer insights. Our customers are core to us and are dear to us because you're the ones who tell us exactly what you see and what you need. So really diving deep into market research and voice of customer work, we're able to uncover many of these unmet needs in the market that we can then feed into our R&D community and our technical community to really fuel that innovation process. Now, this list here is certainly not an exhaustive list of all the things we heard, but these are the most common things that we heard from customers with regards to unmet needs for clarifiers and clarified polypropylene. And just touching on a few of them now, our customers were very clear with us. They want to see a higher level of clarity as the standard in the market, but they want to do so with an additive loading that's much less. So providing a more efficacious product to the market to achieve a higher quality product is the aim goal of many of our customers. And they see that added value because as we increase the standard of quality in their parts, their customers will also value that down the line. Enhancing the stability. So when we talk about chemical stability, we can think of this in many different ways, but two of the ways that I see that most evident for polypropylene producers is around migration performance as well as blooming or aesthetic performance in, say, high heat applications. And then finally, but certainly not least, is the capability of having availability to more post-consumer recycled content that customers can use for a clarified polypropylene application. And so our customers were very clear, we don't want to keep doing things the same way. We want additives that help enable and widen the spectrum of what's capable of being used out of a clarifier for clarified polypropylene when it comes to post-consumer recycle. Now, we took all of these things, and like I said, we have a great technical team, great R&D team, and we were able to feed that commercial intelligence into the R&D team to say, hey, these are the things that we really need to work on, to improve on, to continue to be a market leader in this space. And I'm proud to say that I believe that Millad and ClearX 9000 really does check that box of making sure that we execute on the strategy of improving in these value areas. And we really do believe it is the clear choice for polypropylene. Going to touch into a few of these areas now. When we look at improving the quality of the product and the efficaciousness, when you look at this line here, Millad NX8000 today is currently used at around 2,000 parts per million. And this is a standard loading that's in the market. And it's a space that we like to call enhanced quality. It's better than unclarified polypropylene. And it provides a product to the market that is considered a good enough quality today. But what we found over time is more and more customers started adding even more and more additive, all the way up to 3,000 parts per million, which got into this what we call differentiated clarity space, even up to 4,000 parts per million, which we call ultimate clarity space. But what we heard from our customers loud and clear is, hey, we really want this differentiated clarity or ultimate clarity space, but we want to do so at a much lower loading. And what Millad ClearX 9000 is capable of doing is achieving that space at a much lower loading, at 400 parts per million. So anywhere from 5 to 10 times lower loading than what customers are using today, they're going to maintain an exceptional level of performance and a higher level of quality than what they get out of standard loadings in the market today. And this bar is thick because it demonstrates the fact that there are some thicknesses that are associated with the level of quality you get associated with that clarity. And to touch on that further, I have two charts here. On the left-hand side, we have a 0.76 millimeter plaque, and on the right, we have a 1.27 millimeter plaque. Now, in these data sets, we see melt flows ranging from 2 all the way up to 60 melt flows. So we tested a broad spectrum of resins that are in the market. We were capable of demonstrating, and just to give you some practical levels of expectation here, right? On the left-hand side, you can expect this type in say, a TWIM application. And on the right-hand side, you may expect this in, say, a housewares or food storage application. And in all of these cases, right, what we were able to see was we were able to drive to a higher level of performance that differentiated clarity or ultimate clarity space, but at that 400 ppm loading versus, say, 3,000 or 4,000 parts per million of NX8000. Now, what I'll tell you is that haze is only one component of an overall aesthetic whenever you look at a part. I had the opportunity of going around the globe with parts in hand and doing blind tests. What you see here on this page is on the left-hand side, you have NX8000 at 2,000 parts per million. The right-hand side, you have NX8000 at 4,000 parts per million. And in the middle, we have ClearX 9000 at 400. Now, the haze value of that ClearX 9000 and the NX8000 at 4,000 parts per million, those are probably pretty close to each other, right? It's a pretty close haze value. However, what I would tell you is that in our blind studies, what we found is that customers almost unanimously chose the ClearX 9000. It has a better overall aesthetic whenever you stack the parts in front of a customer. So it's just one thing to see a haze value on a data sheet. It's another thing to see formed parts made in person. So we touched on the aesthetics, but another thing that we heard from customers was about that chemical stability we touched on. This is one example where ClearX 9000 demonstrates a superior performance level in terms of chemical stability. This test was done at 110 degrees C for 8 hours. And what you see from this is that the ClearX 9000, the orange line, holds a relatively stable haze value over that time frame at that temperature versus what NX8000 does in terms of a drastic increase in haze. Now, what we think this does is unlocks potential for customers to tap into high heat applications, whether it's retort, some other secondary treatment application, or if you think about it practically, we all throw our Tupperware into a dishwasher after we empty food out, and it goes through multiple heat histories. As we expose them to multiple heat histories, we see that blooming. If you ever take some time and pull a food storage container out of your shelf, you may see a lot of haze in that, right? What we think that ClearX 9000 will be able to do is to maintain a higher level of quality for a longer period of time, especially in those high heat applications. In addition to that heat stability, we also see a significant improvement in the overall migration of ClearX 9000 when in application. Now, this data here on this slide is from our FDA filings. This is NX8000. And this is ClearX 9000. Now, this data is normalized to NX8000. This isn't the exact value, it's normalized to it. And while NX8000 is approved for use in food and medical, it's used today in food and medical applications, what I would tell you is that this drastic reduction, the 17 times reduction in overall migration, really lends credence to the fact that ClearX 9000 will continue to drive and open up new markets for customers who previously couldn't get into certain food and medical applications that they wanted to in the past. And ClearX 9000 will help drive more value by opening up more markets. Along with that, we do have a very broad FDA approval. It's an A through J approval, and we are approved for use in human milk and infant formula. And so again, just reiterating the fact that as we look at applications today that customers may want to get into, that they may have the inability to do so, we see that this broad FDA approval will open up even more markets than even our previous generation did. So performance in a part is excellent. It's something our customers want. It brings value. But something I know from our polyolefin producer partners is we also want operations to be easier, right? If we look at what customers are doing in the plants, they want to lower the burden on their plants and even their logistics. And what we see with ClearX 9000 is at that drastic reduction in use level, our customers can take advantage of that in the way of improving the handling for their operators on an everyday basis. So handling less material in their plants is a net positive. Also, what we see is a lower demand on warehousing and a lower demand in freight. So as you're shipping less material around the globe, right, it costs less money. And we think that all of these things combined together will continue to add a total value solution for our customers above and beyond what they are able to capture in the market from having a higher quality product. Another aspect that we look at is compatibility. So when we look at the compatibility of our previous generation clarifiers, NX8000 with Millad 3G or 3988 as we call it, what we saw was a drastic increase in haze. So starting here, we had 100% pure NX8000 resin. And as you added percentages of Millad 3988, what we saw was a very adverse effect to the haze performance. However, what you see with Millad ClearX 9000 in the presence of Millad NX 8000 is a very stable performance over the duration of that study, right? Whereas you add more and more of the blend, you don't get this negative effect on the haze. Now, I think this unlocks a lot of things. One thing that it does is it allows customers to have a broader selection of post-consumer recycled content available to them. And so when they're looking out into the market, and like I said earlier, right, Millad NX 8000 is abundant in the market today. So as a customer starts using that virgin polymer of ClearX 9000 and they're sourcing post-consumer recycled content, they don't have to worry about this adverse effect of the additives causing a problem when blending them in a PCR stream. But in addition to that, on the operations side, you don't have to worry about having silos that you're having to manage because you get these carryover of resin, or even in an extruder inside of a polyolefin plant. We don't have to worry about these transitions occurring in such a way that causes a lot of off quality or a lot of concerns with the carryover of the resin. So again, I just want to reiterate, we're bringing a more efficacious product at a higher quality with more stability, but we're also unlocking potential for more markets and more capability around post-consumer recycled content. So with that, I thank you all very much for your time. This is Millad ClearX 9000, and it is the clear choice for polypropylene.
Thank you very much, Alan. Through the K Show, us, Milliken team, is available for you to discuss, contribute, and participate in any of the new projects that you have in your mind. We strongly believe together our chemistry is powerful. Thank you very much, all. Thanks for being here. Appreciate your time.